Hello, hi there, how are you? Welcome back. So we are going to be continuing with our Huntober series. It's going to be the third installment of the Others series by Christine Warren, also known as Prince Charming Doesn't Live Here. This will be the last book from the Others series that we're going to be doing this Huntober. If you want me to continue with the series, let me know in the comments down below. I can either continue them throughout the year, or I can get some, save them up, and put them into Huntober for next year. So let's go on with the review. So this is the story of Denice Carter and McIntyre Callahan. Denice McIntyre, of course, is one of the five friends that we've been introduced to in the previous two stories. However, this one does not revolve around her avoiding going on a fantasy fix set up by her friends. So we're starting to deviate a little bit, which is kind of nice. Denice Carter has been instructed by the top partner at her law firm to go have a meeting with his granddaughter Rosemary, try and find out who the father of her baby is so that they can file a paternity suit. But apparently Rosemary's been a bit reticent to do this. So Denice goes for an appointment with Rosemary to try and find out who the father is. However, Rosemary is not where she says she is going to be. However, the person who is there is a man by the name of McIntyre Callahan, who is a private investigator, who has been hired to find Rosemary at all cost. He doesn't know who hired him or why, he just knows that this is his job, and so that's what he's here to do. Realizing that they are both looking for the same woman, they kind of team up. They find out that she may be in the land of the Fae, which is a land called Fairy. That does not mean that the people there are also called Fairy. It means they are Fae and they live in the land of Fairy, which is where the old, fairy tales of fairies comes from. So calling them fairies is wrong. They are the Fae. So they pass through the veil to the land of Fairy after finding out that McIntyre is in fact half Fae, which makes him a changeling. So when they arrive, they are captured by the King's Guard of the Unseelie Court. There are two courts. There's the Unseelie Court and the Seelie Court. The Unseelie Court, the king there is the Winter King. And apparently he has an animosity against the queen of the Seelie Court. And he's gung-ho on making sure he takes over the Seelie Court as well. So they are captured by the King's Guards, and then we meet McIntyre's mother, who apparently is the current consort of the Winter King. We also find out that the Fae are not particularly sentimental, kind creatures. They are very self-serving and selfish. Not to say that they're evil, but if they have to choose between, like, say, their mom's life and getting a deal that works good for them, they're going to go with getting the deal that works well for them over saving their mom's life. Do with that what you will. So they are constantly trying to figure out how to get out of the prison that they've been put in. And eventually they do, and they find Rosemary, who somehow managed to randomly wander into the land of the Fae, which is weird because they had to really go out of their way to find a guide to get them to the land of the Fae. But hey, that's life, right? Sometimes you work really hard for something and somebody else just happens to just wander right into it, you know? It's just the way it works out sometimes. So they catch up with Rosemary, come to find out the man who she had a short fling with was in fact the Winter King of the Unseelie Court. Also come to find out she's not pregnant, never was. She was telling people this to try and get him to come back to her, essentially. So that sets off a whole nother set of intrigue because, again, McIntyre's mom is the current consort of the king and has been for a few decades at least. So there's a lot of intrigue with who knew what when, who's really in control of the court. There's all of that going on, as well as the developing relationship between McIntyre and Denice. And this one so far has the most storyline, because there are a lot of like little side storylines that I'm not going to bring up. And it also has the most character development. So that being said, we're going to get into that. McIntyre is actually all cool with trying to figure out what his feelings for Denice are. He's all about like, well, I'm really into her. I want to see where it goes. Partway through the story, he realizes, holy crap, I'm falling in love with her. He also sees that she's not particularly happy at the law firm that she's at. She's at a very prestigious law firm that a lot of attorneys go to try and make a name for themselves. But he kind of sees her as the type of person that would take on the really difficult cases on behalf of the underdog and win. That's the kind of person he sees her to be. He likes the fact that she's strong-willed. He likes the fact that she's independent. He likes the fact that she doesn't listen to him terribly often and kind of puts her foot in her mouth. He likes the fact that she is a strong woman, which is kind of nice. And he very much enjoys the fact that even though she is a strong woman, even though she is determined and strong-willed, she is a good-hearted person who likes to help people, which is why she became an attorney. He was dropped on his father's doorstep by his mother when he was a year old because she didn't want to be bothered with him. His father knew that he was half Fae and managed to get him into some sort of a program that went into the land of the Fae when he was a teenager, and he was there with other changeling children. The father had written ahead to tell the mom, hey, he's going to be there. She never showed up to see him, not once. So you have a very deep appreciation for the type of man that McIntyre is. He's very with it. He is very determined. He is an upstanding guy, and he seems pretty well adjusted, everything considered. Denice, on the other hand, she's very determined. She's very all about her job. She's determined to be a very big up-and-coming attorney. That's why she took the job at this very prestigious law firm. That's why she's devoted her life to work. She doesn't have time for a relationship. She's constantly fighting her feelings for Mac. She's constantly going on, we can't do this, we can't do this. I have to focus on work. I have to make a name for myself. We can't do this. Eventually, obviously, she does give in and admit she has feelings for him. And she really starts to see, with Mac's help, that she doesn't really like the law firm that she's at. She's not doing the types of cases she wants to do. She's not helping the type of people she wants to help. And she has a very big growth as a character, realizing that, not only would I be of better use helping the underdog, so to speak, but I would be much happier doing so. So it's a very good character development. There's lots of really great storyline. There's lots of really great jokes. You find out that imps really like root beer because it's like a cocktail of drugs. So for them, that's how it acts for them. And I am down to 30 seconds. So it's a really great story. It's probably the best written out of the three. Big Bad Wolf is still my favorite just because it's the first one out of the three that I actually read. It's my favorite story. But I would give this book a 4 out of 5 stars, which is a first for the series. I hope you found this review helpful. I hope it wasn't too rushed for you. Again, I'm having time constraints with my phone. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.